Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Today is the day after Exeter City wanted to have 6 on the pitch. Exeter City 6-1 winners against Colchester United, Col U. I think it's direct divine punishment for abbreviating your name to Col U.
And nicking that banner.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be a new cocktail available in the Grecian bar.
In the centre spot.
Yeah, 6 on the pitch.
6 on the pitch. I'd buy it in a way. And it follows, it's been a bumper week, it follows a 2-1 loss to Oldham at home. But let's focus on 6-1, Dan, for now, shall we?
Well, it's hard not to, isn't it, you know?
I've only got eyes for the 6.
Why dwell on, a bad day against Oldham when you've got... That's a distant memory now, isn't it?
Really is.
No, we will come on to it, but yeah, we can't really ignore the fact that was an unbelievable display, wasn't it?
First time that we've scored 6 since, I think, the 92-93 season. It's been a while.
Yeah, that's a while.
I was but a boy.
I think that's before I even went. That might have been the season I first went, or it was the season after that, maybe. Anyway.
Very nice to have 6 in the bag, in the hat, in the net.
Yeah.
In the goal.
Right in there. Who got them?
Well, of course, Colchester, previous foes at a playoff semi-final level. It doesn't seem like very long ago at all. In fact, it wasn't very long ago at all that we had them.
No, it wasn't. And also, they're only they're 7th in the table, or they were before last night, weren't they?
Some poor away form has just taken a turn for the worse for Colchester.
I thought their away form was actually quite all right.
I think it was...
I thought they were saying that...
I think they'd lost 4... Oh, we've not researched this at all, have we? But... Anyway, whatever. They got an absolute pasting.
Who cares about them?
Who cares
They
about them?
really did.
Me.
And they weren't very good, but we were... It was more that we were good, I think, rather than that they were poor.
I thought we were splendid. First half, we created a lot of chances, lots of good crosses coming in.
Well, yeah. The first half, you were thinking, it's going to be one of those, isn't it, where we rue these missed opportunities potentially, Because at half time, it's 1-0.
Yeah, it took 20 minutes for Matt J to score. It's kind of a through the legs back heel. Is that what you'd call it?
I guess so. Lovely bit of improvisation.
Lovely Joel Randall cross. Randall Williams was also at the good crossing, as was Matt J himself. But yeah, half time was 1-0.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the delivery, was there?
No.
At half time, before that goal went in, we could have had 4 or 5.
I'd like to make a plea to the commentators on Radio Devon.
Yep.
Stop saying love train.
Oh, they love going on about it, don't they? I know, yeah.
I don't want to be on the love train. I'm there eating my pizza.
What I said to you last night, didn't I? It's like, that was 2 years ago that England, these commentators coined this phrase for England, and commentators, especially Radio Devon ones, have found it hilarious ever since. It's like, yeah, it's funny for about 5 seconds when they first did it. It's ages ago. Leave it. Leave the love train. I'm not letting that get to me.
No.
It was,
but there were a few missed opportunities, weren't there? Randall had a chance at the back post. I mean, he was basically on top of the back post, wasn't he? And he put it either high or wide or both.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Looked one of those ones harder to miss, but I mean, he made up for it. I think that might be his best performance for Exeter City.
He was
by the end
great.
of the game.
Some of the defenders looked bewildered.
I mean, he took him to town, didn't he,
Yeah.
And back again.
Yeah, he did. And ironically, they'll be taking themselves to Tiverton Town next season when their contract isn't renewed, when they've been Randalled.
It's a lot of the same people that we were playing against in the... the team's basically the same, their team, isn't it,
Well,
I think they've done a similar sort of thing to us, where they've lost a couple and they've had to replace them with youth players, but, I mean... Maybe
I think
Nublet
was maybe the miss. He's gone to Argyle, hasn't he? Frank Nublet. But yeah, I mean, really, it could have been 2 completely separate teams, couldn't it, as far as the match performances were concerned. There was another chance first half. I don't want to dwell on this, but Jay put Bowman through and he kind of sliced it. And I thought that was going to be another of those days for Bowman. And
it was very much looking like it was going according to the script for Bowman, wasn't it? Like he really looked like, and especially if you watch the highlights back, it looks like he's his hold-up play, especially with the ball into his feet, is excellent, and really good, and led to most of our goals last night, the ones that he didn't score, and a lot of our chances. But it's almost like in front of goal, it was a calamity, and it got to the point where there's the one he missed, wasn't there, where he gets played in and he
doesn't just miss it; he absolutely spoons it.
Yeah,
he?
yeah. And then after that, it looked like his teammates didn't want. There was a chance first half where Matt J went himself, and he probably should have squared it, but you can kind of understand why. And it's lucky that not lucky, but it's a good thing I think for us that he managed to get some on the score sheet in the second half, because when it looks like your team sort of aren't passing to you anymore because they don't trust you to do the job, then your days are numbered, aren't they?
They are.
But fair play to Ryan Bowman, because he turned
it round.
He shot that down, didn't he?
Now, I don't quite know what Colchester were thinking, but we're 1-0 up. They made 3 subs. Of course, we're now in the era where EFL teams can make 5 subs in a game.
Yeah.
Only over 3 occasions, I believe the rule is.
That's right. There's a lot to talk about today, so we won't go into it in too much detail, but Matt Taylor was dead against this. Dead against it.
Was he?
Never seen him so ardent.
Okay.
But yeah.
It's happened anyway.
So they made 3 subs. Well, he hates subs, doesn't he?
He does hate subs.
But Colchester made 3 changes at half time.
Which is a bold move.
But I mean, they were, fair enough. They're only 1-0 down, but they're getting a battering.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't make any difference. In fact, it makes it a lot worse.
Makes it a lot worse. So
we come out second half
absolutely
looking
flying.
So good.
On 53 minutes, Randall gets his first. 57, thank goodness, Bowman steps up and gets his first.
Yeah.
Lot of excellent midfield play, isn't there? Collins, Jay, Joel Randall on the wing.
They were queuing up to put that one away, weren't they?
I mean,
Bowman gets on the end of it.
We always say, or we have certainly been a theme this season, Bowman isn't in the right places. But last night, he really was, certainly the second half, in absolutely the right places, and he was well rewarded.
I mean, his teammates were playing so well that they would have made it. They were making it so easy for him to score that literally all he had to do was be in the right place, and he had so many chances to do that. Luckily, sometimes chances are at a premium. Not last night, like they were going for pence.
I think 27 shots we had.
Yeah.
27.
But you're right to bring up the likes of sort of Collins and stuff as well, because they're the ones that, in a way, he'll sort of be the kind of unsung players from heroes from that game last night, really, because it's hard to fault anyone in the side, really. Everyone played superbly, but I'd highlight Collins, Joel Randall and Jack Sparks, especially, I think, for creating that amount of chances, and also for Collins linking things up so well that the chances even come about in the first place.
Absolutely. We've been full of praise for Jake Taylor this season. I think he's been really good, and I think it's testament to those guys you just mentioned that Taylor didn't really feature because they were just running the show, weren't they?
I mean, yeah, but
that's not a criticism of Taylor by any means.
Well, he didn't do anything wrong. He just quietly did his job. But moving the ball quickly, Collins is just. I think probably we mentioned this before, but because of the nature of his kind of he's not flash particularly. Do you know what I mean? That we'll probably end up being able to keep hold of him and have him as an important part of the team for maybe at least for the rest of the season. I imagine. I mean, you never want to jinx it, but it's when you watch him play, it's something else, especially last night.
Joel Randall's cross for Bowman's second was sensational. Particularly, ball came to him. He tricked the defender who was marking him. I mean, within seconds there was 5
different
meters
postcode, didn't he? And then split second, he's the guy is doesn't know where he is, what his name is.
No,
he's gone.
Yeah, absolutely gone. So it was a splendid performance all round. 10 minutes to go. The big man, the little man, Nicky Ajose comes on.
Yep.
Interesting.
It is interesting. So he's been featured in all 3 of our last 3 games.
Yeah. And
one start out of those 3. The last 2 league games he's come on to start, hasn't he?
Hit the post.
Yeah, I thought he did well. He didn't have a huge amount to do in either of these 2 games, and I'm not convinced that that's. It does seem a little bit like he's being rewarded for playing well in training, but also in that Papa John's Cup.
Yeah.
but it comes at the expense of having to play out of position because, especially in the Oldham game, he's like he's playing in centre mid.
Yeah.
And then you kind of judging him on that, and it's like, is that particularly fair? Like, I think this is the issue: is that you probably the best way is have him or Bowman, and Taylor prefers Bowman. That's totally fine. You know, when someone scores a hat trick, it's hard to argue with.
Well, Matt Taylor was vindicated last night, wasn't he? It's certainly our best performance of the season. Maybe our best performance of the calendar year. It was very, very good. I said the last time we looked that good was Argyle at home back in October. So it was
probably
splendid.
right, yeah.
Splendid. You're absolutely right. I couldn't think of a bad player. I feel really bad for Alex Hartridge. He came on with about 20 minutes to go, didn't he? We were 4-0 up.
Gets megged instantly and they score.
His first contribution was to be part of the goal they scored.
It won't bother him, I would have thought. One thing I'll say about him is, he came on in the... Did he play in the Oldham? He came on in the Oldham game as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he looks so calm on the ball.
Yeah.
He sort of reminds me a bit of Ampadu, where it's sort of like... Everyone's sort of watching, going like, "Oh yeah, well done, son. You're doing well there, aren't you? Getting in with playing with the big boys." And he's just like, "What? Yeah, well, obviously, fine. I'm fine. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, he looked great in that Oldham game, didn't he?
Collected.
Second half. So that was 6-1. I think the banner headline is Bowman's hat trick. That takes him to 5 for the season.
Do you know what? He's exactly on course to just be the
12
same.
to 15. Yeah.
I think in the first season he played 12, scored 5. Last season played 40, scored 15.
Yeah.
This season, Tim, he's on course after last night to just be exactly the same return as we'd expect from him.
Well, if that gives him the confidence to just be in the right place a couple more times than he has been in the last 5 games, that would be brilliant. Because our midfield and our attacking, whatever position you're calling them, but Randall and Randall.
Yeah, I'm really pleased for him. It was slightly annoying me that I'm not going to name anyone's name, but there was certain it seemed to be a lot of I know Bowman's got plenty of critics online, and I don't want to add to that because he's silenced everyone really with that performance. But there's a lot of when he's not playing well, people are very quick to sort of jump to his defence with saying about how hard he works and all this stuff. But then the minute things aren't going so well for someone like Randall Williams, everyone's just like, "Oh, he's rubbish. He's
prima donna.
He's not as good as he's lazy." I mean, and there was an indication last night that Jose wasn't in the side because he didn't work hard enough or didn't run back enough. And I think that's just it's quite damaging and to someone's reputation, and also and the way people think about players, and also not at all true. So I don't know. I think people just need to calm down a bit and just be able to sort of and you don't have to defend someone who's not playing well. Yeah, and you don't have to, but in the same way that you don't have to attack somebody for not playing well either. That's a bit rich coming from the whole point of this podcast, but I don't know.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Absolutely. I think it was good to see Parks and Key back in.
Oh, definitely. We didn't mention how good Josh Key is.
Well, do you know what? He didn't really have that much to do, did
First
he?
half's absolutely pillaging down the right-hand side with Randall as
Yeah.
well. And those two link up brilliantly. And you've got Sparks and Randall linking up on the other side. It's sort of you've got this kind of parity on each wings. And it's just
And then you actually...
Sparks isn't even the first choice left back. And neither's Josh Key.
Yeah.
They're both keeping senior... Well, no, fair enough, Lewis Page is injured. But in he's taken that opportunity and been brilliant.
Yeah.
And then Key is keeping... Jake Caprice, an experienced kind of tricky wing back out of the side.
Yeah, no, it's marvellous. And then, actually, of course, you've got Jay and Taylor who are dangerous as well, which is, just looking like this is a very, ironically, because I don't think anyone expected this, but this is a very attacking team, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of, I've been surprised by how well it's worked so far.
Yeah.
Didn't expect this. I mean, expected us to struggle more. We knew that these young players had potential, but I didn't know they were going to. We're trying not to be too reactive. We did lose on Saturday. If we were doing this podcast before this game, what would we be saying about that loss?
And Matt Taylor was interesting. He wasn't. Again, it's easy after the 6-1, but he was I think Oldham was. A game we played well in. I didn't really want to criticise him for Oldham. I mean, to focus
Let's talk
on
about that a little bit. Obviously, that game was lost to... Everyone would have seen this by now. If we'd have been there, That'd been one of the best goals scored by an opposition that we'd seen, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it's in the same category as that Kevin Ellison. From
That's
like
the one
5
I was
years ago,
thinking of. Yeah, unbelievable hit.
And in fact, both of Oldham's goals. So City were 1-0 up, and then in the first half, Oldham came back and were 2-1 ahead. But both of their goals were really well taken, shots from distance, weren't they? The first goal was probably 18, 19, 20 yards out, curled it round the defenders and Anderson, and then this free kick put it into absolute orbit later on in the game. But on this particular occasion, it was pinpoint.
Yeah.
Now, and he was miles out, wasn't he?
So far, I did, for reasons I won't go into, but might be around how many times the phrase unknown quantity was uttered, at one point switched commentary.
Yes.
To the Oldham commentary. And I think they were suggesting it might have got a bit of a deflection.
Oh, really?
I've not watched it back in detail, though.
Oh, interesting. Nevertheless, Anderson...
Anyway, yeah. I mean,
I don't think he could have got there. Some people are suggesting he could have because it was so far out, but it was...
I think Matt Taylor suggests he could have done.
Did he?
Yeah.
It was quite a rocket. Anyway, there we are. And what I'd say was...
With those ones, they always say, don't they, that, we shouldn't have... You're better off not having a wall.
Yeah, maybe there's something in that. That meant City were 2-1 down at half-time, and we couldn't... Oldham then did a very good job at defending deep.
Sat very deep, and they were solid, weren't they?
They were
very
solid.
hard to break down. We had a few chances where it was bouncing around in the box. There was one for Bowman where maybe he could have done a bit better, but this was pre-hat-trick Bowman, wasn't it? Whose confidence was in the basement.
It'd be really interesting to see which Bowman we get next. He'll obviously want to kick on from that, won't he? Get a few more goals before Christmas. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, well, what sort of comedy goals have we not seen from? But I'll tell you what I want to see from him. I want to see the ball hit him square in the face and go in. Not a header, just hit him in the face and go in.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, but kind of looping. So he's quite a long way out when it hits him in the face.
Yeah,
and
okay,
then it
yeah.
loops over the goalkeeper. You don't see that enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, nevertheless, 3 points from those two games is not a bad return, and obviously the performance is one that we're very grateful for.
Yeah, another. It's a small one, isn't it? But goal for Randall Williams, first goal of the season in the Oldham game too.
Yes.
Smashed it home after the keeper saved from Matt Jay's close range header. Lashed.
If Williams and Bowman get a couple of goals each this side of Christmas and then continue to pick up goals here and there throughout the rest of the season, we're on course for something good this year, I think. So the table currently sits like this. Some teams have played less games than us, I should say. Newport atop, 29 points, 13 games played. Then Cheltenham in second, 26 points. They've played 14. Cambridge in third, 25 points. They've played 13. Us and Forest Green and Carlisle below us have all played 14. Forest Green 25, us 24, Carlisle 23. It's very close. Then it's Salford, the money swaggling swines. They're in seventh, 13 games played. They got 22 points. I'd like to say this. Our goal difference is +9. You think that's nice for City. That's about fourth or fifth best in the league. But our goals scored are 26. That's equal best. It's not often we say that.
No. Look at last season. Yeah, what that says is we're scoring a lot of goals.
It does say that, yes.
But it also says we're letting in quite a few too, doesn't it?
It also says that.
But look, I mean, we've got a lot of injuries at the back there. I don't know how many it is, but it's
Well,
how many times have we had? How many times have we had the first choice keeper and defensive line? Not very many.
No.
I don't even know what it is.
No.
But we haven't had the option to choose from all of those things.
Both our keepers are missing.
Yeah, we've got this kid who's never played before playing.
Yeah.
Who's better than both our keepers, by the way.
Yeah. Then we've got, I don't think that's supposed to be the centre-back partnership of Sweeney and Parks. We had McCardle at the weekend. Sweeney, as we said, was long gone before the season started.
I mean, it's got to be them two at the moment, hasn't it?
I think so.
Based on form.
Yep. And then we've got two left. We brought in two fullbacks, neither of whom are playing at the minute, kept out by two academy graduates.
Well, one kept out by academy graduate, the other one kept out by an injury. But
yeah, okay, yeah. True point. So it's very interesting.
But bearing all that in mind, yeah.
Scoring a lot. So there we are. That's the current state of affairs. So this Saturday we've got a day off from our league obligations, but we're in the second round of the Cup, the FA Cup, the actual Cup for once. We travelled to Priestfield, lots of vicars there, to see and play against...
In a field.
Presumably, Gillingham, the Gills.
The Gills.
The Gills. Gillingham are in League One, so we haven't played them for a while. They sit in 13th. They're having a fairly average season. But their manager, we've seen far too much in our lifetimes. It's Steve Evans these days. Back there again. Or back in the game again, I should
He's
say.
stealing a career. No, fair play to him, whatever.
I mean, he's probably the most disliked manager in the lower leagues, isn't he? But there he is.
Kevin Brackwell.
Who's Kevin Brackwell?
He's someone, isn't he?
Blackwell, the Sunderland player. Yeah, people dislike him, don't they?
No.
Don't you mean? Who do you mean?
Is that what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I'm going to carry on talking about Gillingham while you work out who you're talking about. John Akinde is their probably best known player. They've also got a man with a marvellous name, or so close to a marvellous name. You might know that the drummer from Green Day is called Trey Cool. That's French for very cool, listeners.
I do mean Blackwell, but yeah, carry on.
They've got Trey Coyle. So close. So close. Trey Coyle.
Lovely name.
Gillingham, I don't know. I don't know what it'll be like. It's 1 o'clock on Saturday. We could go, they could... I don't know what they'll expect.
Do you feel like the pressure's off a bit for this one? We just had a nice 6-1. No one expects us to do much in the FA Cup.
There's no big desire for the third round because we were assuming no crowds. But of course, that might be different now.
We'll come on to that. But I mean, it would be nice to get into the third round, of course.
And the...
Definitely, and I think...
That's money. I was doing the sign language
You're doing the
money.
International sign for money, rubbing finger and thumb together. Bunsen burner. But it'd be nice to get into the third round, wouldn't it?
It would. And
I think Taylor will take it seriously, like he does he doesn't put out weakened teams, does he, for these sort of things in the past? So I can expect a strong side.
Although we do have the Tuesday game, so maybe it'll be a slightly different.
I think it'll be different. I think if you're putting Nicky Law in instead of Matt J, that doesn't count as weakened.
No, fair comment. Yeah.
Perhaps if you... I don't want to slag anyone off. There are ways you could weaken that side, but
Yeah. So that's Gillingham on Saturday. I hope it will be Trey Coyle for Exeter City on the way home.
What are you saying there? What's that?
Trey Cool.
Very
cool.
Right, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I got you.
I mean, I didn't do it first. Francois.
Signature move, that is.
Yeah. So that's Saturday. And then Tuesday, it's what we like to refer to here at the Big Bang Theory podcast as Gramper time.
Everyone's favourite time of year. Gramper's in town.
But not normally we'd be, shielding.
Yeah, well, you think, is he in the vulnerable category, Gramper?
I mean, he's certainly in some
vulnerable
categories.
We're talking about Ian Holloway.
Yeah, if you didn't
colloquially
catch
known
up
known as Ollie.
Former manager of Spit, Plymouth Argyle, among others.
He's been all over, as we all well remember.
He's gone to Grimsby, and I'm afraid to tell you, Dan, I tipped them for the top this year. I thought they'd be up there.
Why?
I don't know. He usually knows what he's doing, doesn't he, to some extent?
Well, he did, but now he's all bewildered, isn't he?
He is bewildered in 18th currently. Grimsby.
Is he still commuting from Land's End or wherever he's?
No, that's Neil Warnock. I think he still lives in Bristol, though, doesn't he? Commuting from Bristol to Grimsby. Yeah. That's madness.
Rather him than me.
I mean, what are those two thinking? Warnock.
Is that essential travel?
Warnock lives in Cornwall and he manages Middlesbrough. Holloway manages Grimsby and he lives in Bristol.
Absolute sadists.
Talking of people
sadists
unwilling
for a motorway.
Talking for people unwilling to commute. Paul Tisdale's back.
Yes, he is.
The old gas heads have got a new club. Boldy's gone to Gassy.
I'm pleased for him. You've done a real U-turn, haven't you? Used to be such a big stan for Tisdale.
I did.
He's at Bristol. Good luck to him.
I think no good luck to him.
Someone still loves you, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, it's already good. I've seen some good photos of him on the touchline already, so I'm going to enjoy that in the same way that, enjoy seeing people trip over in town. It's the same kind of feelings. I don't know. We'll see how he gets on. But yeah, we've got Grimsby this Saturday. That's what really matters. No, sorry, this Tuesday. The relentlessness of the season continues.
I know, yeah. It's I think it's every Tuesday till the end of the year, isn't it?
Could well be.
I think maybe there might be one week off.
Now, I've been racking up my I follow dollars, or rather they've been racking them up for me. But
I don't even want to know how much I've spent
it's
on
best
that
not to dwell
website.
upon. But things are changing.
Yeah. What's this one called? Project Repopulate or something?
Project Double Glazing. I don't know what it's called. But it's happening.
Get the fans back in there.
The fans are back in the club, boy. Because Prime Minister Boris Johnson thinks it's okay for up to 4,000 supporters to be back in the grounds.
Isn't it, or less than 50%, whatever comes first, or whatever.
So they'll have 4,000 at the Emirates, and they'll have potentially something around that number at the bigger League One grounds, I guess.
Yeah, so what can we expect? We can expect somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000, I suppose.
I don't know. I mean,
who knows?
It's a punt, isn't it? We don't know the formula. I'd imagine a couple of things will be applicable. I don't think there'll be any away fans.
No, surely not.
That would be madness, which means, of course, you can have City fans on all four sides.
Also means that I imagine the iFollow will carry up. Well, it will anyway, won't it? Because not everyone's going to be allowed back in.
Yeah.
So.
It means that the club can get some money for gates, and it means that we'll actually have an atmosphere of sorts. Now, let's say we're allowed 1,500 or 2,000. We've seen home league games with that few not that long ago for City, so it'll feel like more to us than it will for like Arsenal playing up there or Manchester United or whatever, won't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Our old mate G Nev's been on the line.
Yeah, Gary Neville's raised the point, hasn't he? I'm not sure if he's referring to what he's referring to, really, whether he's talking about Salford or Man United or both, but he sort of raises the question that obviously some cities and areas will be in Tier 3, which is sort of the stricter end.
So I don't think they can have fans.
And they can't have fans. Yeah. So maybe you're in a situation where you might have a team from a Tier 1 area who are allowed, say, 4,000 fans in, and yet a team from Tier 3 area were allowed none, and he was asking the question of, is that fair? Now, I think probably we have. The only way I can think is that, like, well, yeah, maybe it's not fair, but ultimately, how does it benefit? Is it more beneficial for some teams to get some money where they can, and people to go back in, or that we say no one can because it's not fair? You know, I don't know. Maybe I'd feel differently if we don't know what tier we're going to be in currently, but maybe I'd feel differently if it turns out we're one of the ones who aren't allowed to go. I like to think probably that I'd go along with whatever I think
there's two
right
factors, aren't there? And I think if we're talking about Manchester United, for example, they're having a bad season. They're not playing well. Maybe it's useful for them not to have home fans in because, you know, so you know, the teams that are really struggling, so teams at the real bottom of the league, maybe you don't want to be getting told off all the time if you want to rebuild the confidence. So I don't know if that's necessarily a valid argument. Like, I understand the frustration of fans. I'd be gutted if...
Well, you know what some of them are like from their own club. Yeah. Half of them, you stand on the big bank, they're booing at half time if you're drawing.
So, you know, I think it's...
Absolute gammon behaviour.
I don't think it's necessarily cut and dried that loads of fans in's a benefit, no fans in's is a deficiency. So I think you can't really speak into that. I think you're absolutely right. Obviously, all the time, there are geographical implications to running a football club or to running anything.
Yeah.
Like the day after those Manchester bombs, those players had to play. That was obviously a geographic detriment. Similarly, Exeter City is at the arse end of nowhere. That's detrimental when we're trying to get players from clubs. You know, like... And
Gary, as well-known nutter Matt Letizia pointed out, is it fair that some teams have got a load of money and others haven't?
Yeah.
I don't find myself agreeing with him too often, but, you know, it's a point, isn't it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, unfortunately, we'll all just have to suck it up. It's all part of a process where hopefully by the end of the season, grounds will be... Yeah.
You look at teams like Tranmere, who got relegated last season because the season had to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, is that fair? I mean, no, it wasn't really, because had the season carried on, they had a very decent chance of not getting relegated. However... It's just the way it is. We're in this kind of insane time where, you know, certain things have to be certain sacrifices have to be made, certain weird, annoying, unfair things have to happen.
I mean, let's not forget, Exeter City have probably been at the pinnacle of luck in this process. I know could have been third place and got automatic, but to get the chance to do the playoffs, we had all that luck. We didn't really have any cases back then. We had all the luck, and we still managed to not win. So, it's sport, innit? Like, in the end, it's sport, and who knows what goes on and how it affects everyone and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, quite. I'm looking forward to getting back in there.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Apparently 1,300 season tickets have been sold, so those lot get first dibs, obviously. They've already got a right to be there.
Yeah, that's not you or I, is it?
It's not you or I.
But yeah, that's the right thing to do. They've already paid to go.
They paid for a lot of games they haven't been able to go to. So,
including the ones they are allowed to go to. So they're the ones in first. They've already got their tickets.
Yeah. And then
I'm hoping that after that they'll do us all proud once they get in there. I'm sure they will. With us shouting and singing that song, Stan, or whatever it goes. Yeah. And then...
Forgotten it.
Yeah. And then hopefully it's not for too long, and the rest of us will be there as well.
Piling in. So that's really interesting and a welcome thing. I guess we don't know about things like vaccines. Presumably the players will get them quite early on because the clubs will be buying them. I say that. I don't know, but maybe they won't. Maybe they don't matter.
Don't know.
They're fit and healthy, and actually the people that have caught it have largely been unaffected of professional players. Largely. Very interesting. Big times ahead.
What an interesting time to be documenting all this.
I look forward to when they. I look forward to when they compile the scripts of the Big Bang Theory podcast and sell them in a coffee table book.
Yeah.
I look forward to...
Because we just happen to be doing this at just like the most, strange of times.
I mean, it is pretty weird.
It is weird, but I don't think anyone's going to be looking back through it, let alone transcribing the whole thing.
No.
Absolute nutters. Who are these people?
Well,
it'd be me and you, won't it?
I welcome the cash input. Anyway, we're here for now. We're documenting what a time it is to be alive. We'll be back next week, of course. Hope this is working for you, the old Wednesday production. I just think otherwise we'd be talking about something that's happened by the time you've listened to it.
Best way I can think of it is this. So
we welcome your feedback. So don't forget, you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways at Big Bank Pod on Twitter, the Big Bang Theory Podcast on Facebook, and you can email us bigbankpod@gmail.com. Hope that's okay with everyone. Don't forget, you can leave us a lovely review anytime you want to. 5 stars, very welcomed.
Yep.
We'll see you back on the Big Bank soon, I hope. Maybe not before the next episode, but it won't be too long.
Oh, it's coming.
Thanks, everyone. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague, Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.